Hey, welcome to the training how to go from secret to sought after. I'm your host, Eric K. Johnson, going to help you today become the go-to expert in your niche. That's what today's training is all about, how to go from secret to sought after. So, as we go through the next hour here, do me a favor, turn off your distractions. Give me about 60 minutes here. Grab a pen and paper, something to write with. I'm going to give you a lot of tips and tricks and little nuances that you're going to want to use as you go through this process in your life and in your business. And then I'm going to invite you to come join me so I can help you implement this here as we go through it. At the end, I have a resource called the Magnetic Influence Blueprint. These are 5 proven performance secrets that are used by world-class speakers, broadcasters, and creators. It's a guide that I created. I'll give you a link to that here at the end of this training as well to help you get a little jump start on becoming that magnetic authority in your niche. As we go through this, one thing I want you to remember as we go through the training today is that you're going to keep clients for life by being you. You're not going to keep clients for life based on the value of the education or the information you're giving them. It's not about your content. You will keep them for life by creating an interest in you as an interesting person. Anybody can copy your content. Anybody can copy your 6 steps to success. Anybody can, AI can reproduce your 6 steps to success. What AI can't reproduce is you. It can create a fabrication of you, a copy of you, but it can't duplicate your opinions, your perspective, your beliefs, your values. And so when you create your content, when you can infuse that content with you and your personality, that's what will make you that magnetic, influential individual in your niche. And that's what will attract people to you, is sharing you with them. So you're going to keep people interested in you for life by creating interest in you as an interesting person. It's not about your content, it's about your context. It's what you're wrapping your content in and around. It's not the 6 steps to success that you teach, it's how you teach it and the filter you take it through. When people run into a writer's block, per se, and they're struggling because they don't know what to write about or create content about today, it's because they're trying to find new topics instead of new context around the same topics. If you think of a lot of the um, great teachers and influencers that we have in society today, they stand on a few pillars and they talk about those pillars in different contexts again and again and again. The 3 steps to you becoming that magnetic, influential individual is your persona, your parables, and your platforms. Your persona is who you are, your personal brand. The parables are the stories that you wrap around that persona. And the platforms are where you go out and share that with the world. This is Zoe Routh. Zoe was one of my clients. She is an expert on people stuff. She goes into businesses and helps them break down the silos so departments can work better together. And she had a podcast, and I was talking to her about growing her podcast and asked her what her downloads were. And Zoe said, yeah, I don't even know my downloads. That's not why I use my podcast. And I said, really, why do you use the podcast? She says, I use my podcast to open doors to people I want to talk with. I use the podcast to open doors to people who wouldn't normally take my call. Instead of calling to ask them if I can come in and show them what my product can do for them, I call and ask them to be a guest on my podcast. We open the conversation and the dialogue. We get to know each other. And then down the road, we talk about working together. But it's all about letting them get to know who she is, get to know what she's all about, what her beliefs are, what her values are, what her perspective is, how she operates. So, who am I and why am I uh, at the helm and able to teach this to everybody? Well, I've been in radio for 35 years, teaching on air broadcasters these same tools and tactics. And I've been helping podcasters do the same for the last dozen years. I started in radio in this little Quonset hut back in 1989, my very first radio job while I was getting my degree in architecture. And this little building here has four rooms in it if you count the bathroom. It's got the bathroom, the studio, the front office, and the main office, and that's it. And that was the entire building. But it is what helped me fall in love with radio, be able to talk to an audience, gain their attention and their trust, and move them to action. This radio station was actually a Christian radio station, and we aired broadcasting that encouraged listeners to donate to the program that was on the air at the time and send your donations. Send your check or money order to P.O. Box 123, West Undershirt, Mississippi. And then people would send their money to Our Lady of Fatima Rosary or whoever we were listening to at the time. And it was amazing that I got to talk to these people. Well, that radio career took me to many places, and I got to talk to many people. I got to interview greats like George Strait and Lady Gaga and Lionel Richie. But more importantly, I learned the strategies to attract an audience. I learned how to move an audience to action by gaining their trust and building relationships with that audience, letting them get to know me so that I can move them to action. I can move a room to get them to do what I would recommend they do. And it was all about building trust and letting them know who I am. It wasn't so much about the content I was sharing, but the context I wrapped around that content. And the future is incredibly bright if you do the same thing. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm going to show you the steps to go through to go from being the best kept secret in your niche to being the sought after expert that you deserve to be. And it's all about being able to leverage your content to the fullest potential possible. Are you leveraging your content to its fullest potential? Are you leveraging your content so you're getting out and getting in front of people, letting them get to know who you are, letting them get to know, like, and trust you, and building that rapport? The content you're sharing shouldn't be just about X's and O's. The content that you share shouldn't just be about how to do something. Your content should be letting people get to know who you are, so you're building that relationship with them. There are when I help people implement this in their business and in their strategy, they often run into three challenges. And I'm going to show you the three challenges. So when people think about becoming the go-to expert in their niche, they make it far more complicated than it needs to be. They lack the confidence in themselves, and they really have no idea where to start. And I want to show you how to overcome these three challenges. The first is they make it far too complicated. Well, the path that I want to take you through that makes it super easy is my Ultimate Mic Mastery platform. And Ultimate Mic Mastery leads you through the 7 levels to becoming that expert go-to authority in your niche, to go from being the best kept secret to being sought after. There's 7 levels to Ultimate Mic Mastery. So the first one is your origin story. And your origin story is made up of your purpose, your power, and your principles. This is where your whole journey should start. This is how people will get to know, like, and trust you. This is where the rubber meets the road. When you can define your purpose and why you do what you do, people will follow you. There's a great book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, is what he says in that book. And I believe it wholeheartedly. People will follow you if they believe in your purpose. Your origin story includes how you developed your superpowers. How did you come into being the expert that you are? And what are the principles that you stand upon? What are those principles that you believe in that are unbreakable? And when you wrap all of that in your origin story and you let people get to know you, nobody can copy you because only you've gone through your journey to where you are today. Only you've lived the life you've lived, and only you know what you know in the way that you know it. And when you can start here, that's when people start to follow you. Once we've defined your origin story, you need to define your persona and your presence. Your persona is your personal brand. What are those 4 or 5 characteristics that define who you are? When I ask your best friend, tell me about Annette in 2 or 3 words, and they give me those 2 or 3 words, that's your persona. That's who you are. Loving, caring, nurturing, honest, respectful, gives me that kick in the butt when I need it. Whatever those words and phrases are that define you, that's your persona. That's who you are. And then how you bring that forth, that's your presence. How you stand confidently in that persona to let people get to know what you're all about. A lot of people say, I can't make it in my niche because there's 14 other people teaching the same thing. They may be teaching the same thing, but they don't teach the same thing the way you teach it. And some people prefer one way over the other. Some people need to have tough love. Some people need to have an arm around the shoulder and nurture their way through it. It all depends on what people are looking for. So define your persona and your presence. The next are your parables. Those are the handful of stories that you tell that really reinforce your persona and your personal brand, your principles and your purpose. Those are the stories that make your personal brand come to life. These are stories that you tell again and again and again, like hit records. Like people hear the story and they go, "Oh yeah, I remember that one." And if you think about some of the experts in the information industry, like Russell Brunson, he might tell his potato gun story, like that's his thing. If you listen to Tony Robbins, he might talk about, being broke and asking if he could attend one of those personal development conferences for free, and the guy wouldn't let him. All of them have a parable that they tell again and again and again. These are the ones that bring your principles to life, and they're told in only a way that you can tell it. Number 4 is your personality. Your personality is your persona coming to life. It's your persona in action. So your persona may be made up of caring, honest, tell it like it is. Your personality is all of that coming to life in action. How do we bring that to life when you're on stage, when you're on a podcast interview, when you're on a YouTube interview, when you're on stage in front of a live crowd, when you're on a virtual event? Bring that personality to life. That is how you bring personality. Then number 5 is platforms. So platforms, this is where you're going to go out and let your personality come to life when you get on other platforms. And platforms, I use platforms and stages kind of interchangeably. A platform and a stage is anytime you're in front of another audience. So it could be a live stage in front of a live crowd, could be virtually. Maybe you're speaking to a mastermind through a Zoom event. Could be you're speaking to a summit or a 3-day event virtually. Could be a podcast, a recorded podcast interview, or a YouTube interview, something like that. Anytime you're on a platform and you're in front of a crowd, this allows you to get in front of that audience and share that personality. So step 5 are platforms. How are we getting out and getting in front of our ideal clients? And then 6 is your positioning. So your positioning is how you separate yourself from everybody else. It's where your personality, your parables, and your persona all come together to position you when you're in front of others to position you differently from everybody else in your niche. When people say why John instead of Jim or Jack, it's all because of positioning. You've positioned yourself in a way that separates you from everybody else because of your personal brand and who you are. All the first five come together to position you in the minds of your audience. You want top of mind awareness so that when people think of their problem and they're looking for a solution, they think of you. I send a daily email to my list, and I'm often asked, man, sending a daily email, won't people unsubscribe? And I say, some do, but not many at all. I get very few unsubscribes sending a daily email. And I don't expect people to read my email every day. They might read 3 or 4 or 5 a week. They might not read all 7. However, when they think of being somebody that stands out in their niche and being someone worth listening to and they're ready to solve that problem, they think of me because they see my name in their email inbox every day of the week. So that's positioning. And then 7 is polish and progress. How do we refine the first 6 steps over and over again? They're not going to be perfect, but done is better than striving to be perfect and not shipping. So we get it created and then we refine it as we go along and we make it even stronger and make it even better. We refine our parables. We make sure our persona is spot on. We're looking at our origin story and we're able to tell that origin story in 2 minutes and 20 minutes in different versions. So people get to know who we are and what we're all about. And when we create these 7 steps, success is not about your content. All right. Success is about your context. And when we look through these 7 right here, and we're talking about our parables and our personality, and we're telling stories around our principles and our purpose, that's when we're adding context to our content. When you can refine the context and make the context unique to you, where people can see themselves in your stories, that's when your success becomes about your context. Magnetic leaders don't just plan, they take action. And so as you look at the 7 steps, put them into action and start refining them. In today's content saturated world, the people who win aren't the loudest. You don't become someone worth listening to by being the loudest. You don't become sought after by being the loudest. The ones who show up with confidence and clarity and charisma at the right time, every time, are the ones that win. And the way you show up with confidence, clarity, and charisma is you define it in the steps that we've gone through. You refine your origin story, your principles, those pillars that you stand upon, and then you define your persona so you can bring it to life on stage. And when you've defined it clearly and you know who you are intimately, you can stand with confidence and you're clear on that message. And that's when people start getting attracted to you. So, developing your character, there are 7 elements to a powerful character. One is the character themselves, like Superman. Each character has an origin story, how they develop their superpower. So, Superman has his whole backstory of how he developed his superpower. He has parables of where he comes from and who he fights, the parables of how it all comes to life. There are miracles. That's that one moment in time where he discovered he had his superpower. That's that oh wow moment. Great leaders and great characters have insider language. Those are words and phrases that when you're in the club, you kind of understand what they mean. You know, Russell Brunson might have funnel hacking. There's a variety of them. You know, if you ever listen to Dave Ramsey's show when he helps people get out of money, Dave often uses better than I deserve. That's his insider language. They have that dogma that they believe in, and they have that testimony where they get those raving fans that spread the word. When you become the sought after expert, that's where the testimony really kicks in. And you have people who are out and really promoting what you do and not why you do it. There are a handful of building blocks. These are the 7 building blocks of all great characters. All right. All great characters are likable. All great characters have an innate sense of curiosity. If you want to be a great host of a show or a great speaker and you have curiosity, you're able to predict what your audience is thinking. They're asking, why does that happen? And you're able to answer the questions that are in their head because you have great curiosity. They are an exceptional hero in some way. You've done something in your journey that has helped you develop that superpower that people say, wow, I wish I could do that. I want to be like that. I wish I knew how to do that. So when you're able to create that exceptional backstory, that's when people start being magnetically attracted to you. They have some underdog or adversity there. They've gone through some sort of struggle to overcome some challenge to get where they are today. Maybe they have a common enemy in mind. They're emotionally complex. You're not just a one-trick pony. When we define your persona, there are multiple layers to that persona. You might have 4 or 5 personal traits, but you're emotionally complex. You have some flaws. All great characters have a flaw. You're never perfect. There's always something about you that you can wrap your arms around that is a flaw that will show that you're a real human being and people will magnetically be drawn to you. And then you've gone through an evolution. You were here, you've gone through some evolution, and now you're here today. And you've gone through that journey. Here are a few examples of great characters. This particular individual was born in South Africa. He moved to the U.S. to attend college. His early adventures were Zip2 and PayPal, paved the way for his more ambitious projects. His parables are compelling stories and visions of the future. His legend is the first electric car and reusable rocket landings, the miracles that he's experienced, SpaceX's successful launch and return of astronauts, surprising profitability for his businesses against all odds. His common enemies are traditional automakers, critics, and short sellers. His dogma is the importance of transitioning to sustainable energy, and humanity comes from a multiplanetary species. His insider's language is Starship and Gigafactory, and his testimony are all the happy customers and enthusiasts who actively promote his brands, his high-profile endorsements from celebrities and thought leaders. This individual is Elon Musk. He has all of those traits in him. Here's another one. This guy met his future wife and asked her to help him help him process sales in his business. His parables come from everything he's learned from Robert Cialdini books to real life examples of growing his gym business. His legend was that he sold his company for $50 million, created a 9-figure portfolio of companies. His miracles are dramatic before and after scenarios, often showing the effectiveness of his strategies. His enemies are traditional business methods and common misconceptions. His dogma is do the boring work and only have one business and really focus on it. His insider language is Mosey Nation. His testimony is literally everyone in the YouTube comment sections of all of his videos. This is Alex Hormozi. He's written multiple books and he is like the hot information expert on the internet right now. It's also possible for brands. This is a brand right here. The writers, the rebels, and the community are the characters within this brand. It's rooted in the American freedom and individualism. The parables are the stories of the open road and the freedom that it provides. Its legend is the rebellious spirit and the sound of the engine. The miracles are the transformative journeys and the freedom experienced by the riders. Its enemies are conformity and the mundane. Its dogma is the ethos of the freedom and individuality. Insider language are terms like hog, and its testimony is stories from devoted writers. So you can put this into a brand like Harley Davidson did. If you go through it and you create exactly who you are with clarity, it's able to become that powerful character that people are attracted to. The second challenge that I described was confidence. People don't believe that they are unique. They can't stand out. We're all unique. But how do I stand out from everybody else? If you think of people in the business world who coach women, who coach female entrepreneurs, there are a ton of them. This is one of my clients, Tavana Denise. Tavana was a nurse, and Tavana wanted to get out of nursing because it was sucking the life out of her. She just every day she dreaded going to work, the long hours, the horrible work. She wanted to get out of nursing and go do something on her own and start her own business. So she did. And as soon as she left nursing and started her own business, she started having all of these other nurses come to her and say, "How did you do it? Can you help me? Can you help me escape too? Help me get out." And so she did. She started coaching women to start their next big thing. Tavana Denise here launched a podcast talking about how to start your next big thing that invited women to her roundtable conversation. She'd bring them to a roundtable and talk about what they wanted to start next. And from there, she would enroll them into her mastermind and ended up starting a coaching business where she helped women do the same thing. And she does it all through her filter because of her backstory of escaping the drudgery of nursing and getting into a business of her own. She was able to bring people right along with her. And she's magnificent when she does it. Now she has a house in Mexico and she lives down on the beach and enjoys it every day. This is my clients Sadie and Sasha. They are crazy fitness fiends. They started a podcast, and there are a million fitness podcasts out there. These two get on and they talk about fitness in their own way. These two tattooed young ladies sound exactly like they look. You know exactly what you're going to get as soon as they open the mics because they are very clear in who they are and what they're all about. They interview MMA artists, they interview Olympic athletes, they interview bodybuilders about getting physically fit. And then they send people to their website to purchase products that they sell through Fulfilled by Amazon. But they're a great brand. They have a great show, and it's different than any other show because they share who they are authentically. This here is Jedley. Jedley's a clown, literally. He goes to schools and does magic shows at schools to help kids overcome bullying. And there are all sorts of bully experts that go talk to elementary schools. Jedley does it through magic and comedy and encourages kids to support each other. And he's fantastic. He has a podcast where now he helps children's authors get exposure to their audience to sell their books. And it's called Reading with Your Kids. And he's all about just making the lives of children better. And he does it through his own clowny, magical sort of way. And he's awesome at doing it because he's confident in who he is and what he does. And he does it like nobody else. The third challenge is where to start and no mentor and exactly how to do it. How do you get started on this path to create that persona, that origin story, those parables and principles upon which to build your personal brand? And that's what I'd like to show you how to do today. And I'd like to invite you to come join me so you can build an audience. It's not a huge audience, but it's the right audience at the right time who needs what you have to offer because they know you're in their corner and you're attracting them magnetically to you by who you are. And you're building that audience that wants what you have to offer because they're following you as their leader. And I'd love to invite you to come learn all about it in my podcast, Profits Accelerator. My podcast, Profits Accelerator, is a program that will help you build this entire pyramid so you become someone who's sought after. It will help you increase your influence. It will help you amplify your audience. You'll grow your business and explode your impact by going from secret to sought after, building that ultimate Mike Mastery pyramid, starting with your origin story, with your purpose, your principles, and building it all the way up through your personality to where we refine it and get you out and doing it on multiple platforms. By the end of this program, you're going to be known in your industry. You get expert coaching and in-depth strategies for your podcast and your show and your business with hands-on help multiple times a month. I coach you through each and every step. So the Podcast Profits Accelerator includes 2 live calls with me a month. We get on and we talk about building your ultimate mic mastery pyramid, where you are in the process, how we refine your personal brand, how we get you in front of others so that you become magnetically attractive to the audience that you're trying to bring into your business. You get access to all of the recordings. We record every call. We put them in the dashboard so you can go back and access them anytime you'd like. You can get access to previous calls. If you're working on a particular step in the pyramid, you can go find that exact call and revisit that so that we can get you results quickly and easily. You get access to my Podcast Profits video library. These are trainings and other learnings that I've done, workshops and things. We put them in the Podcast Profits video library. So in the platform and the dashboard, you have access to all of those as well. I do boot camps throughout the year. Sometimes they're half day, sometimes they're 3-day, sometimes they're somewhere in between. They dive into specific things like growing your audience, generating revenue with your platform, and creating great content that connects with your audience and brings them in. You get free access to those. I sell these as ticketed events. Being a member of the Podcast Profits Accelerator, you get all of those events free of charge. You get access to a private Facebook support group so you can get help between our calls. If you have any questions or need other support, you're in that support group there. I have about 36 different resources inside my toolkit and library. You get full access to those. These are everything from creating show content, how you prep for a show, how you create lead magnets, how you refine your content and review it at the end of the show, how do you make it even stronger, all sorts of tools in there to help you land podcast interviews and get more exposure. You get full access to that entire toolkit and library to help you implement your strategy. You get an onboarding call with me. When I join memberships, I get frustrated because when I get in, I have no idea where to start. I give you an onboarding call to show you exactly where to start, what to get into first, and how to proceed through the entire platform and how to find everything. So that's a one-on-one onboarding call with me. Total value is over $13,000. Membership and Podcast Profits Accelerator is only $250 a month. And you get full access to the calls, the recordings, the boot camps, the toolkit and library, and the whole shoot and match. Now, I do have a few bonuses to throw in to make it even easier for you. Bonus number 1 is my Audience Explosion Blueprint Coaching Program. This is a program that I used to teach. It was a 6-week live program. I've recorded all of it. It's inside the video library, inside the Podcast Profits Accelerator for you to access. This will show you step by step how to go out and grow your audience for your podcast, for your YouTube channel, whatever platform you're building content on. I'll show you how to go get in front of your ideal clients and build your audience. That program sold for $997. You get that as part of Podcast Profits Accelerator. I'm going to give you a 30-minute coaching call with me. We'll get on the call. We'll figure out what your goals are, where you are today, what's holding you back, and I'm going to help you build that bridge to overcome those challenges to help you reach your goals. And then I have a video course called How to Crush Your Next Podcast Interview Like a Radio Pro Without Hours of Preparation or Years of Training. This is everything I've learned over 36 years of radio, how I've interviewed others. I interview artists on being interviewed, what they like about it, what they dislike about it, how you can create more powerful interviews when you're on getting interviewed and when you're conducting an interview. It sells on my website for $197. That is a bonus as well as part of Podcast Profits Accelerator. That takes the total value up over $15,000. It's yours today for just $250 a month. You can get in and join us. Our next call is the first Tuesday of January, and I would love you to be part of it. you can get registered and join us at podcasttalentcoach.com/accelerator. Podcasttalentcoach.com/accelerator is where you can jump in. I will post that in the chat here. If you have questions, do me a favor and post those up in the chat while I find this link here. And I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have over anything we've discussed today. You can post those in the chat, and I'm happy to answer those up for you. In the chat here, I'm putting the link to the Podcast Profits Accelerator page. You can see all of the details right there and get registered for that as well. I often get questions about when the calls happen in Podcast Profits Accelerator. We do calls twice a month. They happen at 4 p.m. Central Time on the first and third Tuesday of the month. We do them virtually via Zoom. They're super easy. All of them are recorded, like I mentioned, and they're put on the dashboard inside the Podcast Profits Accelerator membership, so you can access the recordings of the calls anytime you'd like. We usually do it for about an hour. Sometimes it runs a little longer, depending how many questions there are. I usually teach for about 40 or 45 minutes on a particular topic that is part of the Ultimate Mic Mastery Pyramid. And then we answer questions for the next 15 or 20 minutes, or sometimes a half hour, depending how many questions there are. We are opening it up for questions and answer anybody's questions, help them get unstuck and make sure they're implementing the Ultimate Mic Mastery Pyramid in the right way to make it as easy as possible. Yes, there is a money back guarantee. I offer a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you get into it and you the first month, first call or two, and you think, yeah, this isn't for me, I'm more than happy to refund your money, no questions asked. Give you a chance to get in and try it out and see what it's all about. See if you like it and see if it's helping you get where you want to go. There is an annual discount as well. If you click on the link and you go to podcasttalentcoach.com/accelerator, you'll see the $250 a month option. You'll also see an annual discount, where if you sign up annually, you'll save a little bit of money there as well. You can cancel at any time. It is a month-to-month membership, so you can jump in there. I often get asked, is it possible for anybody to become sought after? And I can't say it's possible for everybody, because I don't know you. I don't know how hard you're willing to work, and I don't know if you're willing to actually live in the spotlight to your fullest extent. But if you're willing to share your origin story, and you're willing to put in the work to develop your persona and identify your personal brand, and then you're willing to share that brand on stage strategically, it's possible that you can become sought after in your niche. You just have to be intentional about it. It doesn't happen by accident. If you specifically design your personal brand, and then you infuse that personal brand into your content with intention, and you wrap your content around that context, then you're able to become magnetic and sought after. It's possible. I've seen it done for many, many people. I've seen it done for Sadie and Sasha, who are fitness experts. I've seen it done for Jedley, who is a clown. I've seen it done for many others. I'm currently working with a dentist, and he is becoming the dental expert in his niche, helping other dentists scale their practices, because we're creating that persona and that image around him. And I'm not teaching him how to be someone you're not. That's what I want you to understand. This program isn't about turning you into someone you're not already. This program is about figuring out exactly who you are, and then figuring out how we're sharing that with the world in order to get them to know, like, and trust you and want to follow you instead of everybody else in your niche. That's the magic of Ultimate Mic Mastery. It's living who you are to its fullest, so people fall in love and want to follow you because they love what you're all about. They love your principles. They love your purpose. They love your origin story, and they can relate. That's what this program is all about. And I would love to have you come join us in the Podcast Profits Accelerator. You can find it at podcasttalentcoach.com/accelerator. Get it right there. The other thing I promised to give you was my free guide, the Magnetic Influence Blueprint. This is 5 proven performance secrets that are used by world-class speakers, broadcasters, and creators. These are the same strategies I teach all of my clients, and I've taught on-air radio broadcasters for the last 3 dozen years. If you download that, that's a link straight to it. There's no opt-in required. You can get right to it. Just click that link and you're able to download it. No opt-in required, and you can download that. Just that's my gift for you being here. So I appreciate you spending the time with us today. I would love to see you inside Podcast Profits Accelerator. Again, our first call is going to be the first Tuesday in January. January 6th is our next call. I would love to get you signed up now so that I can get you onboarded, so you and I can have that onboarding call. I can show you the entire platform, help you walk your way through it, figure out exactly what you're trying to accomplish in there, show you what to click on so you're not lost and not guessing, hunting and pecking. I want to show you exactly how to get the most out of the program. So let's get you signed up. Let's get you through that onboarding call and get you ready for our first call in January. You can register right there at podcasttalentcoach.com/accelerator. Thanks for being here today. Truly appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you inside the program. Hope you have a great day.